What's up, all? RC is back with another video. The rim is on fire. It's on fire. So, on this video in particular, we're going to talk about Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson. Just a subject. I've talked a few times on my channels about South Carolina, but I don't know if I ever really focused in on Raven Johnson and her impact. And even though, I'm a huge Iowa fan, I don't have, because I feel like sometimes, and I don't think it's just Iowa fans actually, that have always shots to take at Raven. Always shots to take at Raven for her, offensive game not being where they would want it to be, But really, what else could... People always pick out your weakness, okay? Even if you... this is kind of crazy to mention his name in the same video, but even if you look at Caitlin Clark, people are going to pick out your weakness. So you got to use it as fuel. You got to fuel your failures. You have to, with triumph. And you have to overcome whatever your weaknesses are. So in the event that you might say, okay, you know what? This is what we're going to pick on Raven about, is her shooting. Because we've seen it go down. We've seen, Caitlin back off her. But we also seen the redemption story. We also seen her bounce back. We also seen her leadership qualities, with your bar none. We also seen her defensive tenacity, which is unparalleled, especially from a guard perspective, the way she gets after it. We've seen her playmaking abilities. And we just, when you looking for a hard-nosed defender, when you looking for a guard with defensive acumen, championship mentality, how could you really look further than Raven Johnson when she got those intangibles? So that's what I'm saying. Like, people gonna look for what don't fit, in your game, and that's what they're gonna, especially when you're very sound at everything else. Raven Johnson's a good rebounding guard, and so I think it's a step, and also just in terms of my individual growth, to be shining some light, on Raven Johnson, because I don't know, outside of Tessa Johnson, I've never really done like a South Carolina individual video, and Raven Johnson is getting that love and that attention and that praise and that respect, because she puts the hard work in. It don't always show up in the offensive stat sheet, but I really feel like Dawn Staley truly would rather have no one else at the head of this head of the helm than Raven Johnson herself. And again, people are always going to take shots at what you don't do right or what you don't do well. And Raven, in my opinion, has come such a long way, and she still has room for growth. And my thing is, your shot can always be worked on. Your shot can always be, ironed out. You can always, as long as I say this, you got to be able to do a couple of things. You got to be able to do things to get you by anyway when your shot's not falling, right? So, in my humble opinion, she's doing everything else. She's setting up teammates. She's leading the break. She's just, bringing the troops together, keeping everybody calm. Chicago Sky could use a teammate like Raven Johnson, could they not? Could they not? The Atlanta Dream could use someone at the helm, whether it be in the second unit or the first, like Raven Johnson. Could they not? I believe so. So, yeah, and then if you think about, okay, say later on, if she's not in the first round, if she goes, I'm not sure how that goes. Y'all let me know in the comment sections. Can Raven Johnson lead this year? I know Flau'jae Johnson could lead this year. I know that Lauren Betts could lead this year, but I don't know if they will. But could Raven Johnson decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and come out? Because I think she could be a second round pick. I really do think that Raven Johnson will be drafted when it's time, because she literally has all the intangibles. She's not going to give you the problems and the social media spats that you've seen from Alexis Morris. She's not going to do that. Obviously, she's not the prolific scorer of a Diasia Fair, who neither one of them are in the WNBA. But I just like, again, with Raven, her composure, her defense, her intangibles, rebounding as a guard is really good. Her ability to run a break, playmaking, smarts. She does a lot of things, high IQ, and I never sit here and pretend to tell you guys I'm a South Carolina fan, because I'm not. But when I see talent, when I see intangibles, when I see high IQ, when I see a composed and smart player, extension of their coach, then I got to point that out. And so that's what we're doing. And I suppose in closing, I would say that, yeah, Raven Johnson's defense is exactly that. Her defense is what she say it is. And, Caitlin Clark, I think personally would do well to have a player like Raven on Indiana. But I also think that Caitlin needs to become a better defender because I think that Caitlin does so many things great. But I also feel like, Raven would be a great addition to the Fever. But, look, Caitlin Clark is a guard that she's outstanding, but she has to learn how to defend. And I think the more players you put around Caitlin that can defend, how do we know that, Caitlin won't become a much better defender, because she'll have so many help defenders. You guys see what I'm saying? But look, yeah, probably mentioned Caitlin a little bit too much in this video that's tailor-made for Raven Johnson, but salute to the floor general, supreme, superior. And look, it don't get much better than that, y'all. RC dropping the Raven Johnson video. Hey, 2025, it might be where it's at. And with that, y'all know I'm going to get up out of here, but I need you to like that. Hit that like button if you did. I need you to consider subscribing. Why are we going so hard? Why are we dropping so much content? Because women's basketball is where it's at, is where I'm at. And we doing this, and we true about this, and we dedicated to this, and we focus on this, and we understand something. We understand if we love something, we got to talk about it. We got to bring the passion, and we got to drop the content. Got to put it out. So with that, I'll be back. I'm out.